Hey, Picks and Parlay family, it's me, Detroit Lenny here, with another episode of Bet Win Repeat. We are here. It is Monday. It is the 31st of July. We are live. We are rocking and rolling on this trade deadline tomorrow in the MLB. So let's talk about a little bit of that. Before we do that, we're going to talk little contest stuff. I am, like I said, you follow me at Detroit Lenny or Detroit_Lenny on Twitter. Kind of find myself a little funny, or I guess it's not Twitter anymore. I don't know. What is it still called? Twitter, or is it just a big X? I don't know. My phone updated. This is the Bet Win Repeat show. Don't forget, download the new app. It's available on the Picks and Parlay Picks and Parlay apps available on all your platforms there. Google, Android, Apple. Download the app. It's easy peasy and it's free. Free to sign up. You just create a username and get some notifications if you want. From our live stuff that we do, Craig's top 5 picks, daily stuff like that, consensus report. It's good stuff in there on the app there. So check that out. If you're into contests, join the Picks and Parlay contest page at facebook.com/groups and Picks and Parlays contest. That's where everything goes down, really. If you're in a contest, money-wise, the weekly contest starts today. I can't express this enough. We it's $100 prize weekly, and I think people are like, I think it needs a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of revitalization. I don't know, some like it's stale. So I don't know how to fix that. Well, I do know how to fix it. I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, let me bring in my graphic here because I got a graphic here for the monthly contest that I wanted to talk about. This is the monthly contest where you compete every day for 30 days. It's free to everybody to join. All our contests are absolutely free. All you got to do is submit your picks on the contest page. You log into the Facebook contest page. This contest, the weekly contest, is one pick a day. One pick every day until you're the last one left. The monthly contest, 2 picks every day, minus 130 or better. That's the juice on there. 3 winners at the end. We play out first place $250, second place $100, third place $50, first and second place tied. The Dannies ran this, Daniel Alexander and Danny Daniels, pretty much start to finish. They were pretty much up there. I don't think either one of them had a rut there at all, but they finished both at 37 and 23, so they'll chop up first and second place. Third place goes to our birthday girl, her birthday month anyway, in the month of July, Julie Carly, 35, 24, and 1, real close there. I mean, you see that? That's a day. It's a day. Take two losses, take 2 wins, boom, bang, boom, pow, you're right there. But yeah, so that's that. That's the monthly contest winners for July. August starts tomorrow on the 1st. It's 30 days, 60 picks. So definitely jump in on that if you want to. It starts tomorrow, like I said. Everybody on this list, I've messaged you on Facebook privately or tagged you in something. But email Craig at picksandparlays.net which contest you won, your mailing address, shirt, hoodie size, PayPal info, and you'll be paid out, and you get a cool shirt. Maybe you'll get lucky and it'll have my name on it. I don't know. I don't know if he sends those out. I doubt it. I think he keeps those for his private collection. It makes sense. But anyways, that's the contest over there. I also want to bring up what the Facebook page kind of looks like quickly. And then we're going to bring our first guest in, Terry Edelman, our only guest today, I should say. Picks and Parlays contest page looks like this. Okay. You'll see comment. Here's the post. It breaks down all the rules right here on what you need to do as far as what the rules are, what's permitted, what's not permitted, soccer wise, stuff like that. We get a little no pushes, no more, no pushes. You push, you lose. You ain't winning money, you ain't winning contests. So there's that. And then here's the final results of everybody that was in the end who made it to the cut. That's the thing in the monthly contest. There's a cut at the end of the month, or at the beginning, middle of the month, I should say. Contest starts at the beginning, ends at the end, and in the middle there's a cut. After day 15, you're not over 500%. You're not 500 or better. you can't play the rest of the month. So that's what the contest page looks like. Definitely check that out. There, let's talk some baseball because the trade deadline is tomorrow. I want to bring in my esteemed colleague here from picksandparlays.net, Terry Edelman. How we doing, Terry? Let's go wild picks.
Not too bad. Can't really complain too much. Did have a losing week in the CFL, which is rare for me.
Son of a
2-4 week. Still number one up on the site on Picks and Parlays. I did cash my 5-star play on BC -8, my favorite play of the season, and they won 27-0. I cashed Edmonton team total under 16.5 as well. That was plus 100. They didn't score a point. They got close to a field goal once, maybe two times, but the Edmonton Elks now own the North American record, North American sports record for most consecutive home losses in a row,
That's
with
bad.
21 straight home losses.
Ouch,
So,
ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah, I
but
kind of
yeah, overall, yeah. Sorry, I meant to. And overall, still first in CFL up on the site on Picks and Parlays, and I'm number two on all sports for the year for 2023. I am number two on the site. I'm looking to keep things going here.
I like it. You're doing great. You're having a great say last 30 days or so. We talk about this all the time when the train is rolling, get on, and the train's on fire right now. So definitely hop on. Speaking of that BC and Edmonton game, I, I just did the teaser of I did a teaser with the Lions and the under. So that cashed for me because I didn't really think Edmonton was going to do a whole lot. I mean, it's the best defense in the CFL is the BC Lions against arguably the worst team in the CFL, not just offensively, but team in general in the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah,
I just
100%.
I just thought they were going to just shut it down and my Lions roll. You know how that is, being a Vikings fan, and then in the NFL, but little shots
See,
every now and then.
if only the Detroit Lions could play like the BC Lions, maybe they'd make the playoffs
I mean,
eventually.
what are their standings right now? Let me look up the standings. What are they, 6-1? There's
Yeah,
yeah,
BC six
they're
and
six
one.
and one. Yeah, I mean, it's not it's not undoable. Um, I know you're already on to week 9. And I
Yeah,
know you have more plays out for that as the week progresses. It's Monday. First game's we got Thursday game, Friday, and then a Saturday, Sunday. So we got Thursday,
yeah.
Friday, and we got
I
Hall of
love that
Fame.
schedule. It's kind of new for the CFL this year where they're doing that. But I love the schedule where it's one game a day for 4 days.
I think that's
Four
better.
days of football.
Highlight it.
It's
You
good.
spotlight that particular game, right? I mean, that's what you do. And then when you do that, that's all. I think that's as my son says, it's all gravy, baby. But let's talk a little MLB. You're kicking ass in the CFL. Let's talk some MLB. The trade deadline is tomorrow. There's some teams that have made moves. Max Scherzer is now a Texas Ranger.
So is Montgomery.
Yep. So there's that. I mean, the Mets are doing what the Mets should do and sell. I know you have opinions.
With the highest, what should the Mets do? Because
They gotta
with
burn
the
it.
amount of payroll, like they tried to buy themselves a World Series
Yeah,
with two 40-year-olds, and I said numerous times, you can ask Nick and Tim, I was saying that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And look at what Verlander's done. He's been great up in this year. Okay, he's taken a step back, obviously,
Mhm.
but he hasn't been horrible overall. But he's definitely still taken a step back. And I told him, I said, signing two 40-year-olds to huge money contracts, it's not going to work. And it
All right.
hasn't. It hasn't worked. So,
Um,
um,
I have mixed emotions about that. I mean, being a Tigers fan, I'm always kind of going to be a Scherzer and Verlander fan kind of guys. Yeah, you know what I mean. But the Texas Rangers has been an ATM for me this year. I mean, when you need money, look at a Rangers fan or look at a Rangers game. I can get behind them going after the veteran, the guy who's been there, done it. You know what I mean? I think he is the better option of the two with Verlander and Scherzer there. But you mentioned Montgomery, and I think that's an underrated. I don't want to say underrated because it's getting press, it's getting media attention, but I think that's one of the biggest signings they've had, or that's in free agency this year, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What are your thoughts on Montgomery going to the Rangers?
Well, the Rangers, they were. If you followed my picks up on the site for the first half of the season, you will see that I bet Texas a lot. I was
Mhm.
betting Texas a lot because they were making me money. Now injuries have hit, and they barely had to Grom at all. They didn't even really need him. So it's not basically him, but injuries have hit. Losing Seager, I think, really hurts the Rangers, so they'll need to get him back eventually. But going after some starting pitching, that is a very smart move. Um, Getting Montgomery and Scherzer, two completely different guys, but two pretty good starting pitchers to add. I think Scherzer, I think he's going to do better with Texas. Um, I find that when players leave the Mets, they seem to do better. So not to throw shade at the Mets, but
No,
it
I
seems
can
to
get
be.
behind that. I mean, I mean, I just think Jordan Montgomery does a whole different. He brings a whole different, like you kind of mentioned this whole different sense of. He's a completely different pitcher than Max Scherzer,
Yeah.
but he brings the same veteran type swag to him or whatever, and I just think in that rotation, a Texas rotation is going to be a little dangerous. If they make it to the playoffs and they're fighting for that division. I mean, they're one game up. They're exactly one game up over the Houston Astros. Not to mention the Angels have said, "Hey, we're not done," and they're 5 games out. And the Angels have made moves. I don't think what's his name who went to the Angels from the White Sox.
Giolito.
Giolito, thank you. I don't think he's necessarily like you know gonna win you playoff games, so to speak. I don't think he's like the
Getting
guy.
CJ Crone and Randall Grichuk, I think that was a really smart
I
move.
like both
Adding
of
two
those.
more bats into the lineup. The Angels are trying. They're going to try. But if you look at the standings, I was just looking at the standings right now.
Mm-hmm.
The AL East, 1.5 games separating first to second. The AL Central, half a game from first to second. The AL West, 1 game separating first to second. We'll skip the NL East, where Atlanta is beating everybody's butt into the ground, 11.5 games. But
Yeah,
in the NL Central, half a game, and in the NL West, 2 games. So it's crazy how at this point of the season we're seeing so many divisions up for grabs still.
That's- I
And
you mentioned this, yeah, going through that. Besides Atlanta beating the brakes off everybody,
yeah,
um,
that division settled, but every other
right?
one anyone could win. Not anyone
Yeah,
could win, but
it's
multiple
anyone's
teams have
game.
a
Yeah.
chance.
Not to mention, you said like a game or two separating first and second. There's only like 4 or 5 games between third place and first, too, as well. The Arizona Diamondbacks are only 4 games out of first, and they sit in third in that division. The Cubs are 4 games out. They sit in third behind Cincinnati and Milwaukee. Um, Again, we'll skip the National League East. Angels, like I said, 5 games out, haven't and the Mariners 5.5 games out, and they sit in fourth. So I mean, there's a lot of baseball to still be played. Tigers 6.5 games out, they're done. Whatever. The Blue Jays 5.5 games out behind the Rays and the Orioles, and behind them is the Red Sox, who I do not think have a shot at all in anything. I just don't. I don't like the Red Sox team this year. I don't. I think they should be sellers and kind of ride this year out. And I don't know. I just Boston. I just think needs a timeout this year. The Yankees are in last place still, and they're 9 games out. Here's the thing with the American League East. I don't count them out yet. I don't count the Yankees out yet. Like Boston is only 8 games out of first, and I count them out, but I don't count the Yankees at 9 games out. And I hate saying that because I can't stand the Yankees. I can't stand the Yankees, but Yankees do Yankee shit.
And they were playing without Judge for a long time. They just got him back, so that's a huge. That's like an acquisition. That's
Acquisition.
like a sign.
He's
That's a
signing.
trade right there.
Line signing, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting Judge for nothing, so that immediately improves the lineup.
A little bit, yeah.
Will it be enough to get them into the playoffs? It's a tough race.
It is. I'm going to look at the wild card real quick as you bring that up. I mean, the Rays up 4 games in the first, but then you got the Jays, the Astros for the American League wild card. And then you got Boston's 2.5 games out of the wild card. Yankees 3.5, the Angels 4, Mariners 4.5. I mean, that's tight race with so much baseball left. Everybody goes on streaks. Everybody goes into the little ruts. So, I mean, in the National League, you got Giants up there. They're up a game. Brewers, Marlins are tied. Phillies are half a game. Diamondbacks are 1 game. Cubs are 3.5. Padres are 5 games out. The Padres, don't they have the most expensive like lineup
after the Mets? Now that the Mets made the trade with Scherzer, I'm not sure. No, I think it's still more. But yeah, San Diego is also a very high payroll team, and it hasn't worked out. And then you look at the Braves, who have a really low payroll compared to these guys, and they're just. It's not about how much money you spend; it's about where you spend it and how you spend it.
Well, I mean, just goes for a blanket statement across sports in general. It's about how it's I don't know, life philosophy with Lenny right now, but it's just like raising kids. It's how they're raised. It's the farm system. It's how they're brought up. Bring them up the right way, and that talent will shine. You and as far as sports go, you pay for position players that you think are going to impact your team on a leadership level, on a talent level, at a position level. You know what I mean? And you bring them up the right way, but then you got teams that, like you said, the Mets or the Yankees used to be the ones that do. The Red Wings used to do this in the 90s. I need a goaltender. I need this person. I'm just going to go out and hand them a blank check. And Dominic Hasek, goaltender for the Detroit Red Wings, perfect example. We needed a goaltender. We handed him a check, and he was retired, came out of retirement, played, won a cup, left. Come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, some teams will do that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I've never been a big fan of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll take it and I'll celebrate those Stanley Cups that the Red Wings won doing that. But,
well, it's different, and now the NHL is different with the salary cap.
Yeah, it's a whole different.
Everything is completely different now. So
yeah,
and you know what I've said, and I remember Tim was on for an episode, and we discussed this about the MLB getting a salary cap, and he thought that's a horrible idea. I think it's a great idea. Limit teams to how much they can spend, and allow having these teams that have so much money that they can just outspend everybody. It's just not fair,
It's different markets, that like the LA market's going to draw more than the Seattle market, or you know what I mean, or so. But then again, you have the Angels, the Dodgers, and the Padres, all right, and the Giants in California. I mean, that state's only so big, even though it has so many people, don't hold so many fans. So, I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the salary cap. I'm a fan of the luxury tax. You go over a cap, you should be taxed, and appropriately. But I think if you go over the cap, you should be taxed for sure, and then you're taxed, and then you kind of pay that tax, and so it's up to an owner to adjust that. Like maybe the owner says, you know what, can't afford that tax, so this is where we're at. And then maybe some owners are like, you know what, I got $1 bajillion, what do I care? And they pay that tax and they do it. I think it diminishes your title though if you buy it instead of bringing it up. Like if you have the highest payroll in baseball and you win a World Series, I don't look at it the same as I did if you had top 10 payroll in baseball, or you were imagine being it's a Moneyball situation. Billy Bean in the Oakland A's Moneyball. I don't know, that game's on. I do it all the time. Every time that movie's on, I watch that. Moneyball. You ever seen it? Brad Pitt. He looks just like me, except different hair.
Not that I can think of offhand.
Watch it. Great movie. Moneyball's a staple in the development of baseball into what it is today. This guy, don't mind me, just here to start fights and take all the smoke. That's fair.
He is great at that. Nick is great at that.
Nick Earl, you can come on and talk shit if you want. You know where to find us. You know where to find us. We're here. The cap is on the fans. If they don't show out, the owner can't spend. That's a give take too, and a love hate relationship too, because like being a Tigers fan or being Terry, you're a Blue Jays fan. How many Blue Jays games do you go to? Or being a Minnesota
it's been a while.
Wild fan.
It's been a while.
How many Wild games have you been to? Right? I'm a Red Wing fan. I can't go to Detroit and see my people. Yeah, that's how I call them. I call my people. I can't see them all the time, every game. If I lived in the city, I would have season tickets to everywhere. And my wife would hate me, but hate me more. But I don't know. Moneyball, great movie. Yeah, great movie. Club America plus 155. Davis has got all kinds of shit in case anybody. It's all in the chat and what you want. USA -2, Tampa, Miami, all kinds of stuff though. But I don't know if I can sign on to what you're saying for the salary cap, as far as needing some kind of cap. It does.
Well, I'm not saying you need it, but I'm saying it would be if MLB decided to have it, I think it's a good thing.
Some kind of hybrid.
If MLB made the decision to add it,
right?
Because other sports have done it. And look how competitive other sports are. Like the NHL is a great example with the salary cap.
Well, they're all billionaires. And now, you know what? It's very rare that you have one owner. I will say this. This comment, that's a side note. Let me read this comment. Also, keep in mind, all these owners are billionaires. They should be able to spend money, if not sell the team to someone who can. So I think that's a stereotype kind of thing, that all these, just because they're worth $1 billion doesn't mean they have $1 billion. That money may be on paper, and I'm not saying they're broke or anything like that, but there's a lot that goes into ownership, and I'm not defending any owner in any sports team ever, because I think they're all, I shouldn't say, I'm trying not to swear, Terry. I'm trying not to swear on the show, but they're all assholes. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone, as you don't own a team, nobody buys a team. It's a business. J-Rock says it pretty. It's a business, though. They're not in it to lose money. So if the team is profitable, doesn't necessarily mean that equates to championships. We all know that, right? So you got to find a balance. There's a fine line between spending the money, not losing money, but winning a championship. There's plenty of teams out there that have won a championship and not been profitable.
And another reason for the salary cap is look at the Oakland A's right now. It's absolutely ridiculous because it's not just a salary cap, it's a salary floor too. What the Oakland A's have done is completely ridiculous, because the fans that, like, I'm not going to get into moving to Vegas and that kind of stuff, but what they're doing to the fans and it's just what they've done to their salary is just ridiculous, I think. So that's why I would add a salary cap, because, and I point again to the NHL as an example, where you're not a team isn't going to be bad for like 10 years. So I guess unless you're the Buffalo Sabres, but sorry, Tim. But with the salary cap, you have so much parity. Like there's different teams can win. You're not going to
Right.
see the same old for 30 years.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. You know, you're less dynasty stuff, and more competitiveness. I will say this about the Oakland A's. Nobody wants to talk about the move to Vegas, but it's not just the reason, but again, I don't know why I'm on this Moneyball thing. But in that movie, Billy Beane is the general manager for the Oakland A's. True story. And the Oakland A's owner, I'm pretty sure it's the same dude it is right now, but he's flat out just says, this is how much money you have to spend, and this is how many wins I expect you to get. And I don't give a shit about anything else. That's your job. Figure it out. And it's nothing. There is nothing, and there's no money that it's given. And he gets it. It's a it's a numbers thing, but whatever. But the point is, some of these owners are like, well, I don't really care about the World Series, so to speak. I don't say care because everybody cares, everybody wants to, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is the bottom line, and it's all about the money. And if you're going to force an owner to sell or spend money, I think a floor needs to be done first and foremost. I agree with that. But he is flat out obvious and blatant about it, the Oakland A's owner, and he's not putting a nickel into that team until it's out of there, out of Oakland. And that's it's become politics in Oakland. It's become, and when politics, it's all shady and it's all bullshit. As soon as it becomes political, as soon as it becomes a war between the mayor of Oakland and the owner, it's the only people that suffer is the fans. The only people that suffer. And that's bullshit. But it happens all the time. There we are, 27 minutes into the first show of 5 this week, and I've swore 18 times. I don't know, Craig. I don't know what to tell you.
I completely 100% disagree with Nick's statement, which is what usually
salary
happens.
floor, not a cap.
You can't add one without the other. You 100%. If you're adding a floor, you need to add a cap as well. It doesn't make sense to add a floor and not a cap, because then you're really forcing teams then you're driving up how much money is getting spent all across the board.
Well, I mean, depends on the cap. Or I mean the floor.
And then you're going to put teams into positions where they can't afford to, like, it's just it.
I mean, if the floor is only X amount and there's only a handful of teams, then they need to pick up the pace, kind of thing. And then you're going to force more sales of teams. These guys will file for bankruptcy, or they'll go into the shitter and literally like tank, and it'll be all bad.
See,
but I don't know if you can have a floor without a cap.
I think you need both. If you're going to add one, you should add both, and that means that teams like the Mets won't be able to go out and spend how much they do, and that those good players, hypothetical good players, can go and sign elsewhere, and we can have better teams across the league instead of having these teams like Oakland that are. Oakland's not a good example. Maybe a team like Detroit. If a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers can't sign somebody because they're at their cap, that means that other teams like maybe Detroit would have a chance at signing somebody because they can't go and sign with the Yankees or with the Dodgers because they're already at their cap. That's my thoughts on it.
I could appreciate that. Or it's simple as, if X team can't afford you and they can only afford this amount, but you could go this team and sign for a bajillion dollars, then you start to, you get into the character of a player. Do you want a ring or you want your money? And I don't fault either one for wanting either situation. So young kids coming up in the NFL and going places and, just securing the bag, as they call it, whatever. That's what these kids call it nowadays. Secure the bag, get the money. I get it. It's generational wealth. I understand that. You're talking about your kids having going to school or not going to bed hungry and shit like that. I understand that. I get that. But at the same time, I like the idea of having I don't think you have a floor without a ceiling is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You can't believe in God if you don't believe in the devil. I mean, that's my opinion, but look at me getting all biblical and shit on your asses. Oakland doesn't deserve a team. I want the Oakland A's to come to Las Vegas so I can see them for the next 10 years because a team in Vegas will not last long term. I don't think a baseball team. I think in 20 years it's somewhere else. Just saying. Maybe back to Oakland. Vegas, you are renting an MLB team. I don't think you can sustain an MLB team 50 years down the road. 30. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I remember the Oakland A's my whole life. Okay. I don't think anybody born right now in Vegas is going to remember the Oakland A's in their 50 years. So I'm just saying baseball really needs to react and go to fewer teams, in my opinion. I don't like the fewer teams. I don't know if I necessarily am on board with that. I mean, there's what, 30 teams right now. I mean, if you had two teams you got rid of right now, just straight up eliminated, no moving, nowhere else. You got to get one from the AL and one from the NL. Who do you eliminate? I'm asking the chat. You too. I'm asking you too, Terry.
Well, obviously, Oakland shouldn't be an option because that's just an easy answer.
I
So,
don't think it is.
but Oakland's obviously the easiest answer for the AL. If I had to give a second team, I would say Kansas City, but they've won a title recently. So, but if you're looking at it, it would be Oakland or Kansas City, not just because they're the worst two teams right now, but just overall. And then
Okay.
looking at the oh, what? Do you want me to go
No, I
next?
said okay.
Okay. Going with the NL. Honestly, I would get rid of Colorado.
That's where
And
Nick Earl. Yeah, I'm on board with
oh,
this.
and the reason is because of just it's when you're with baseball, you're never going to have pitchers that are going to do well. I feel like it should be on even playing field type thing, and I just feel like Colorado's just always that team where okay, their guys can hit because of the altitude, but they're never going to have pitching, and pitchers go there to die until they go somewhere else. So I wanted I would say Colorado,
I
and if
don't
I had
think
to choose the second one, Pittsburgh.
I
Sorry, Hannah.
that's okay. I don't think that a state should have two teams. I'm sorry. I know you can drive from one end of Texas to the other or California to the other, take bajillion hours, but I don't think you should have two. Like Captain Brian says this here, White Sox, Chicago doesn't need two teams. Yeah, for sure, a city doesn't need two teams. So LA, pick one. I could see having like Texas, Houston, and the Rangers. I mean, I don't know where they're at, like geographically close to each other, but
Kansas City, St. Louis,
right. The Marlins and who's the other?
Tampa Bay. Well, yeah, Tampa Bay. That's another one.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
that's
yeah, that's
necessary.
another one.
I don't think that's all. I don't think. I know it's based off. But hey, the Yankees and the Mets. I get it. It's night and day, and it's across the bridge. But
But with
I
other
don't know.
leagues
Become the New
expanding,
Jersey Mets.
I don't see MLB retracting. Like, I don't see MLB getting rid of teams because all the other leagues are expanding.
Yeah.
If anything, there's pressure for the MLB to expand.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Listen, I know we're never ever going to have not a Mets and Yankees. I know that. But that city can sustain two teams. You're right. But like, I don't know if Florida needs two teams. I'm sorry.
no.
I don't think they do. I don't think the Marlins and the Rays, even though they're both great and they're both competitive in their divisions, obviously, I don't know. Should add 2 more teams, Nick Earl says. Cough, cough, Raleigh. See, how long? For how long? Is it going to be able to sustain for your children? Like,
Carolina hasn't really been the best sports city
yeah, I
or the
mean,
best sports state, in my opinion.
tennis.
Like
I see
the
well, now
Hurricanes are doing well, but now like playing wise, but attendance was horrible for a long time. And when the Hurricanes eventually get bad again, I think attendance is going to be gone. Like, okay, they've got the Panthers. I don't think I know
North Carolina.
why Nick wants North Carolina to get a team, but I don't think that's a good spot for teams to go.
J Rock says MLB takes a certain kind of city because all the games, then you have day ones, the day games, yeah, etc. I agree here. It's the thing is it's I don't know. I mean,
I think Nashville.
it's such a long schedule. That's the thing for baseball. 162 games. NFL, you can sustain an NFL franchise because you got 4 months of football, 3 months of football. You play once a week. There's a buildup. There's anticipation. There's, but when you have, I'm paying the same price to go to a Tiger game than I am a Lions game. And there's only 17 of those, and only 8 of them are at home for the Lions.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I could see 80 some games at home for the Tigers for the same price.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind paying $100 for a ticket or $50 a ticket. I don't mind that. But if I'm going to pay the same price for a Lions game or a Tigers game, I'm going to go to all 8 games for the Lions because there's only a small sample size as opposed to the other. Texas is different though. From the Northwest Panhandle to Brownsville, it's just 4 miles shorter than the Panhandle to Canada. Yeah. Listen, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if we're going to eliminate one team from every sport, all of Minnesota, all of them, we could just take Minnesota,
No.
catch it from the Union, and just push it up into Canada, probably with just a shoulder shrug, just my
The
bad.
Twins. Hey, if I had to pick if I had to pick a Minnesota team to go by, it would be the Timberwolves, which would be the easiest. But then it would be the
Yeah,
Twins.
I wouldn't miss the
Vikings and
Timberwolves.
Wild aren't going anywhere.
Twins, I definitely miss the
Vikings
Vikings.
and Wild are not going anywhere.
And the Wild, I mean, they could stay. They're mild anyway.
The state of hockey is going to have hockey from now until the NHL doesn't exist anymore.
I agree. Minnesota isn't even a real state. Yeah, see? Maybe remove Toronto so we can keep MLB 100% grand over US. Well, now we're just hate shaming Canada. That's bad. But I mean,
Canada could start their own baseball league.
I would like to go to a Blue Jays game just to say I've been to a Blue Jays game. Like that's a bucket list place to go. Wrigley Field. I would like to go there. I'd like to go to
I went
Arlington.
there on a school trip.
Did you? Wrigley Field?
Yeah, from Canada. We went to Chicago, and I went to a Cubs game.
I don't think anybody in the state of the United States has ever took a school trip to Canada. So Canadian school kids come to U.S.
No, I'm sure in like Seattle. I'm sure in like some of those northern states.
No, I'm messing. That's fair. Well, let's talk baseball today, real quick, before we bounce on out of here because we've been all over the place here. Talk baseball today. Smaller slate. We got 9 games, 10 games. Favorite dog of the day, and what did we used to call that on Game Time Decision? I used to call it my dog of the day, whatever. Plus money play. I don't know. My plus money play of the day is the Baltimore Orioles. Go ahead.
Today is a tough slate. I have one play up on the site in the Cincinnati and the Chicago Cubs game, to the battle of hot teams in that one. I have a 4.5 star play on the site in that game that I really like. So I'll stay off that one. The Blue Jays and the Orioles, I am staying off Blue Jays games right now. My issue is that one thing this week taught me something. So you learn something new every day,
every day.
and betting wise, everybody is good at. Oh, I shouldn't say everyone's good at something, but most people are really good at like sides or totals or props. There's people that only bet player props.
Yeah.
That is just what they're really good at. For me, I'm staying away from totals because no matter what I do with the total, yeah, I've cashed some unders lately, but totals I'm completely off with. I'm always 1 or 2 points or goals or whatever away and just so close to the over and I don't get it. So I'm staying away from totals now. I'm a sides better. I'm great at betting sides. So that's where I'm going to stick with. And when it comes to this Blue Jays game, I see the Blue Jays minus 125, minus 130 at some spots here. It's a horrible spot for Baltimore. Um, Obviously, playing last night on Sunday Night Baseball and then
Yeah.
having to travel to Toronto and Toronto being at home playing the early game yesterday. So they haven't had to travel or anything. It's a great spot for Toronto, but I can't lay minus 130 with the Jays against an American League East team with the way they played against American League East team. So I'll be watching it, rooting for the Jays. But that's the only other game that's really catching my eye. Red Sox Mariners. I think that could be a sneaky under. If I was going to bet a total, but as I just said, I'm staying away from totals. Pavetta, a pitcher I love to bet against. I've made lots of money betting against Nick Pavetta, but he has been lights out lately, like
I don't like
really
that
lights
at
out.
all.
Like check his glove type of lights out. That's how he's been playing.
Check
So
his
we
glove
saw this
like
with Domingo Germán. He was just like
I mean, I get
pitching
it.
perfectly, and then so I would check Nick Pavetta's glove, but I'll keep that. Keep that.
Check
And
under
you know
the
what?
hat.
Domingo
What's
Germán's
under
pitching
the hat?
today as well. So there we go.
Yeah. Can I rub their
Hope the
hand through your
umpires are
hair?
doing their jobs today. Double, triple
Um,
check.
yeah, triple check that glove. I don't like nothing to do with that Red Sox Mariners game. It's a I want to bet Nick Pavetta. I do, but I don't know. I kind of like the Reds today, even though they traveled yesterday or last night, but they traveled from LA. That's what bothers me is they go from LA to Chicago. We all know that's a plane ride. The here's the thing with the Orioles. I'm not really too worried about travel too much. I mean, it's not that big of a flight. It's like an hour and a half flight or whatever to where they were going to Toronto from where they were going, I should say. So I'm not that's my plus money
Crossing the
play.
border, though.
Yeah,
Like, crossing the border is a pain.
yeah,
I think, I don't know.
I think it's different from when they cross the border and when we cross the border. Like, I think
Yeah,
TSA
that's true.
is not necessarily worried. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But
Gibson has been hittable. So
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I don't really like a whole lot today. I took completely off yesterday. I didn't bet nothing. I really didn't. Saturday I got beat by some hooks and some totals. So I feel your pain on some totals. Like I had like over 8.5, they scored 8. I have over 9, they
yeah.
scored. Or something like that. So I kind of stayed away
Well, yeah,
yesterday.
stick with what you're good. Stick with what you're good at. And that's what I've been trying to do is like this week in the CFL, I added totals and I was trying to expand on what I'm good at, but there's
Yeah.
just no reason to. Stick with what you're good at and there'll be good results. So that's what I'm doing.
Captain Brian says, I thought Massachusetts was the state of hockey.
No.
This might be
Absolutely not.
self-proclaimed state of hockey, by the way.
Go and search on Google state of hockey and see what comes up.
Well, just look up Hockey Town. I don't know what the
No,
state.
no, 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 no,
Look
no,
up
no,
now.
no, no.
You look up
There's
where
a
the
there's a
town is played
difference.
in hockey,
No,
and
no, 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 no.
you
Hockey
might get
town is
a.
that's
It might.
there's a difference.
Or wait,
There
it's
is a
just,
difference, Lenny. Nice try. Nice try. But yeah.
I mean, I'd rather live in a town than a state. I'm just saying. I don't know.
So there's one little town that likes hockey, but then there's an entire state that
It's a
loves
little
hockey.
town.
Yeah.
I'm going to check the population of Detroit against the population of.
Well, why isn't it called Hockey City then? Why is it called Hockey Town? Because towns are like small little like groups of how many people, not huge cities. So
Are you breaking down geographically what makes sense?
yeah, hey, they should. Hey, if they're gonna
Canadian,
call
you have
themselves Hockey Town,
provinces and
then
different
hey,
things. I can't talk to you right now. Jays win today. Turk Davis says Toronto minus the 135. Jays take 3 or 4 versus Baltimore.
I would love
Over
that.
9.
The
Okay.
thing is if you look at Chris Bassett lately, he has been really, really good. But the start against Baltimore was one of his 2 really, really bad games. He gave up 8 runs to Baltimore and 9 runs to St. Louis. Those were his 2 worst games of the year. So I'm going to be watching Bassett, and if he comes out here and pulls a revenge game, then the Jays could definitely win this one. But if he just struggles against those Baltimore hitters, it could get really bad. Yes, I saw that.
I'm just going to leave that there.
And I will answer that question with one statement. Go and look at what Minnesota Wild started with. Go and look
What does
at
that
the
matter?
players that they started their franchise with.
Oh,
They
it's
weren't
different than when
gifted.
a
They
franchise
weren't
starts.
gifted a
Oh, yeah.
roster like Vegas or
No.
Seattle was. They got a bunch of fourth line bums, and then they had a really bad general manager for their first 6 years and then their next 8 years. So that puts them back like 10 years right there. You don't need to have a cup. It's not easy to win the Stanley Cup.
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
like someone can go out and be like, "Oh, I'm going to go win the Stanley Cup tomorrow." It's the hardest championship to win in all of sports. And the Islanders, Nick, won cups way back when yeah. How many cups have the Islanders won since the Wild joined the league? None.
When did you join?
2000.
2000 even? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure that Hockey Town at least has cups to display.
Well, no, you guys had your 23 years of playoffs, which that's going to be a tough record for
that's a rough
an
that was
NHL team
yeah, that's
to
rough.
beat.
But also too, there's I mean we have more cups than any other team ever in the United States
No,
of America.
Montreal. Oh, in the United States, yes.
Yeah, well, I can only worry about where I'm at. Hockey Town, USA. So
And you know what? People bring up how many cups do the Wild have, and you know what?
they have
That
the
it
same
doesn't.
Wild, yeah.
That's because that's the only thing they can bring up. And you know what? Bring it up.
Well, it's a
Like I
big
said, it's
thing.
not easy
You
to
just
go out
put
and win a
all the
Stanley Cup.
you just said it's the hardest trophy to ever to win in sports. So
Yeah.
if you have them, you should talk shit about them. I mean, you should be like,
Yes, but
hey,
you
they're
shouldn't
bad.
talk shit about ones you had 40 years ago. Let's hear about ones that are recent. So, and
I
you know
don't
what? The
think
Wild have the
anybody.
brightest
I don't think
future they've ever had.
any fan should be able to boast about any championship they won, their team won, not in their lifetime.
That's like the
So,
Leafs
like, I
fans
could talk
saying,
about
"Oh,
the cups,
we have the second most
you know,
cups."
but like I could talk about the cups that the Wings won, but I can't talk about the cups that like Gordie Howe won in the 50s because I ain't that
Yeah.
old. Contrary to Nick and Tim Earl, they think I'm like, you know, I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, not that old. But I could talk about every one of my teams having a championship except my goddamn Lions. And that all changes this year when the Lions come to Vegas because they have to come to me this time. So, um, But anyway,
Your Lions are your Lions even going to make the playoffs this year? That's what you shouldn't be focusing on winning the Super Bowl. You should be
I'm
focused
not.
on making the playoffs.
I'm
That's
not.
exactly like Tim talking about Sabres for the Cup. How about Sabres for the playoffs first?
Listen, you could check every one of my tweets or anything. I mean, I got receipts about every show I go on. I talk about for real, honest to God. I bullshit a lot. I'm like king of bullshit, right? For sure. What I'm dead ass serious about. Somebody asked, whatever, like on Barstool asked me, like, how many wins, whatever, as many as it takes for the division. I don't care if that's 9 wins. I don't care if that's 17. I want division. That's what I want as a Lions fan. I don't care if we win a playoff game. I want us to win a playoff game. I want a division and a playoff win. Those are the 2 goals for the season. But honest to God, the goal going into we have to take steps. The Lions have been bad for so many years. Same old Lions, blah, blah, blah. They have taken steps under Dan Campbell. The last 2 years, they have gotten progressively better. The next step in this championship run, which could take years,
is making the
is
playoffs.
the division.
When you have to make the playoffs
I
before
want
you
to
win your
host
division.
a playoff game. If you win the
And
division,
the defending champs aren't giving up the division.
listen, if we host the playoff,
division is staying exactly with the defending
we're gonna
champs.
burn that city down if we win. I'm telling, we won't ever make it to the Super Bowl. These fans will go nuts. They will burn it down. It will slowly float in the Windsor, and then it's the end. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I'll feel fine. On that note, we're going to wrap it up because he's just going to talk shit. Piss me off, Nick Earl. Lions missed the playoffs, Lenny. Don't get your hopes up too much.
I'm not going to say they're going to miss. They're not winning the NFC North. They're not winning the
That's
division.
exactly what I want. Everybody,
they might be able to get a wild card spot this year. Finally.
I mean,
they might.
Wild card spot. I don't want it. I want the division. I want to host the playoff game.
Well, it's.
I want to host.
I don't know what to say.
Minnesota Vikings wild card playoff game. That's what I want. I want to host it. So when the Vikings get the wild card, now they got to come to Detroit, and I want to kick the ever living shit out of.
Okay. The only thing that sucks is that the Lions and the Vikings face each other so late in the season that
last game of the year this year.
The Lions might already be out of a playoff picture, and the game might mean nothing. So the Vikings might just roll, or the Lions might win both games because their Vikings are so far ahead already that it doesn't matter.
I mean, to be honest,
you might get to see the Vikings win. I mean, you might get to see the Lions win.
We split with them last year. I expect to split this year, to be honest with you, with Minnesota. I expect to go 5-1 in that division. And splitting with Minnesota. That's what I suspect. Me and you are on the same page as far as 1-2. It's either Minnesota or Detroit. Chicago and Green Bay are irrelevant. Contrary to this guy. Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, in that order. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins. You saying Lions can't win that?
I would 100. And you know what? You can ask Nick. I'm not a Cousins fan.
You're
really.
not. I'm probably.
But I would rather have Cousins than Fields, Love, or Goff. Cousins is the best quarterback in that division, and I'm not a Cousins fan. I'm a Vikings fan, but I'm not a Cousins fan. But he's the best quarterback in that division.
Wild card team. I like it. Jared Goff, enough said. Why is all the hate for Jared Goff? The guy had single-digit interceptions last year.
He's not horrible. He's just not good enough. He's not bad, but he's just not good enough. He's kind of in that mediocre.
I'm not putting him on Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, Josh Allen stat. I'm not putting him at that level of a tier quarterback, but he can run your offense well. He runs Ben Johnson's offense very well. He's the check down guy. He's the safe guy. He's not going to lose you a game. And he's a leader. And I'm not, Jared Goff has always been, since they traded for him, a bridge to the future. And
what happens if he gets hurt?
You want me to get the Hendon Hooker jersey? You want me to go get it? Not this
He's
year.
a hooker jersey?
Hendon Hooker, University of Tennessee,
Oh,
creamsicle.
no.
Hooker.
I
Oh, number
don't. You
12.
know me in college football, Lenny. I'm very new to college football.
I'm not. Listen, this year, if he gets hurt, it's all bad because Hendon Hooker can't play. Okay, but
Oh.
in 2 to 3 years, the hooker in Honolulu Blue is the answer anyway. So Jared Goff window is very small. He's
Okay.
got 2 to 3 years. So and he's hate on Malibu's Most Wanted all you want, but Jared
I
Goff
don't hate on. I just said he's not bad. He's just not good enough.
and he's a here's something that the Minnesota Vikings can't say. The Lions have a big time quarterback. Like can play in Monday Night Football games, can play on Thanksgiving Day games, can play on those big event type, the big stage. He's been there. Kirk Cousins, I like Kirk Cousins, Michigan State grad. He's a Spartan. I'm probably more of a Cousins fan than you are, but Kirk Cousins not.
Okay, hold on a second, because
vocally.
I'm like 99% sure that Cousins won on Christmas Eve and on Thanksgiving this year.
I mean, Christmas is
So
for
I don't know about that. And the
football.
whole Kirk Cousins prime time thing is just so
Thanksgiving is for football.
overblown.
Christmas is for basketball. We all know that. I hate the NBA, but I watch it on Christmas. Come on.
Well, whatever. We'll see.
Poking. Yeah, it's all at the end of the day, we all agree the Bears finished last. So quarterback getting hurt can be said for almost every. Yeah, exactly. What if Kirk Cousins gets hurt? Who's your backup?
I don't know. But
Exactly.
they'll do good because it's the Vikings, and the Vikings will not let me down.
Our game plan against the Vikings is the same as it's been for the last 3 years. Run up the middle. That's going to be the Bet Win Repeat show. As always, me and Terry are going to fight about NFL divisions. We're actually in the same division, so I mean, it's like
Yeah, hey, that's where we have our rivalry, is between the Lions and the Vikings, because the other teams don't really
I mean
hate each other. So
yeah, exactly, So yeah, there's that. I appreciate you being on. I appreciate everybody stopping by, hitting that like button, sharing us out, subscribing, do that, ring the bell if you haven't already. Get notifications of all of our shows. Here's where we do the content. Over on the Picks and Parlays contest page is where we do the contests. So definitely check that out. Here's a link for that. If you're looking for more of Terry's premium plays at picksandparlays.net, guys on fire. That train has been rolling. It's left the station. Y'all better hop on. Use the promo code MLB. That'll save you 20% off the entire site. For Terry, use that promo code. Like I said, get his premium plays over there. We're going to bounce on out of here. Davis has got a last little bit for us. Some LG KBO Twins, -2, 4:30 a.m. Get after that. Good luck, everybody, unless you're against us. Take care.